Yeah, I got to get to that one. Hey, it is Friday, May 8th. Is that right? Yes, May 8th. This is like the first TG news from the 11-year-old version of with the relaunch. And a lot of things are different, and I really appreciate everybody who's working on migrating the membership. I've heard from a lot of people it's worked out really well, and of course, if there's any problems, drop in a ticket. We've got a great team working virtually around the clock to keep that all happening. So going with a few different like setups and things like that here now. So things may change a little bit over the week, and trying a few different ideas. It's actually quite late in the day now for me doing this, and it is cooking. I've been reading that it's like pretty cold in parts of the Midwest, maybe 20s and 30s, and we're like in the 90s today. And I should have done this morning, but instead I went out and for a nice trail ride with two of my best friends. I only have two friends. They both wanted to go riding today, and so I said, okay, I gotta go. So we were out at the Almaden Quicksilver Park. Wonderful place until I had to walk a half a mile with a flat tire. While luckily my buddy Sean ran back. He has an electric assist bike, so he kind of zipped back to the car, got the pump, and got me rolling again. But anyway, so the day started off with all good intents, but still a little weird. Anyhow, so again, all kinds of new stuff here at the site, and I hope you really are getting a chance to check it all out. The student uploader is the thing I'm really excited about. I think it's about this close to being ready. So keep an eye out for that. All of you, the old members, if you've come over, you've realized you've gotten seriously upgraded. Target Lite members, really seriously upgraded. Target members have access to like all four sites now. Anyway, that's just the tip of the iceberg. What else did I want to talk about here? The forum. I have to confess, there was a questionable post on the forum that Agent Cooper can't be trusted. Old timers might remember Agent Cooper, one of my spies, and I asked him to just put up a random post that I meant to take down just to see how the forum worked. But before I could, Vanessa jumped in with a really thoughtful and intelligent answer. Thank you, Vanessa. And Walt pointed out, what the heck is this question all about? So that's when I realized that I hadn't taken it down. It was just... Anyway. But watch out for Agent Cooper. He's a sneaky, slimy devil. And a very close relative, I have to tell you. So, but who did help us out a lot in the early days. So, let's see. What else did I want to talk about? Lessons. So we have, like, all the lessons are back, and some new releases. Uh-oh. I can't even remember it. I did that lesson so long ago, but we were already, like, in shutdown mode. Kind of like the rest of the country right now, huh? But I figured that would be a really appropriate one for blasting out as our first new lesson. So we got to revisit, or got to add Beatles tunes, and there are a lot more Beatles tunes on the register. Not all shot and done yet. So and then Danny Boy. So this was a again back in January or so. I was messing around with this and played it for you. I think we got an acoustic snapshot on it. Speaking of acoustic snapshot, all of the blogs now that used to be in various places are consolidated into On the Beat. So if you scroll down to the bottom of the page of On the Beat, there's like links to everything. So if you're looking for, Muriel Anderson or Jan Ackerman. No, I didn't have Jan, but there might be a version of me playing his song. It's not his song. Yeah. So anyway, Sylvia. I'm pretty sure I put up a version of me playing Sylvia, but you can find that now really easily just from the one blog link instead of all our like dozens of different blogs that we had rolling before. So that's really cool. And there's like all kinds of new stuff coming out on that. Hopefully every day, but at least multiple things a week. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Oh, now the other new approach is we want to talk about upcoming lessons. Like this one maybe. I should have put the capo on. But just kidding. It's just that right now, this is really odd because right now I have about 6 students all working on Sounds of Silence, later renamed as Sound of Silence. So call it whatever you want, but I think you know the song I'm talking about. I've got beginners working on it because it's pretty easy on one hand, and then I've got some pretty advanced intermediate players playing it who I expect to be able to play it really smoothly and sing it at the same time. Hello darkness, my old friend. There we go. I still should have grabbed the capo. Come to talk, because it's pretty darn tricky to pick that part out, which of course Paul Simon didn't really ever do. But, well, he came close, I think. Speaking of Paul Simon, is that the end of my Sounds of Silence tangent? I think so. Oh no, there's more. And I have a lot of students playing this too. Is the capo? Oh, the capo is handy. So, my other favorite. Oh wait, it needs to be at 7 for this one, huh? And oh man, this is gonna put the guitar so out of tune. So anyway, these songs have fallen off my radar as far as teaching students. Where did that? Excuse me. Like I said, it's 90 degrees here now, and if I run the air conditioner, it wouldn't be good for the video. So, I'm hearkening back to last July. We were in Greece and Amsterdam, and if you've seen any of the videos from IGC Europe, it was a day like this for like the whole week. Anyway, where's I going? Paul Simon. So right now, a lot of my students, it's funny how Sounds of Silence, a song I probably hadn't shown anybody for 10 years, and somehow it crossed my radar 4 or 5 weeks ago with some student, and I thought, oh, that's a great tune. Why haven't I shown that to anybody for like 10 years? Anyway, so, you know what probably did it? It's when Sandy came in and wanted to learn 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. That's what started it. We started talking more about Paul Simon. Anyway, to continue, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, coming up next week. That's one. And then, somebody who'd been to our IGC twice sent me a message saying, hey, I can play the rest of this song. Got it? He says, I can play the whole thing, but I can't figure out the intro. So, I listened to it. Let me think. Oh, yeah. And sent him tab to it. I thought, wow, I've gone this far with Fall on Me, REM. Might as well do a lesson on it. So, that's on the release schedule for next week. There we go. Paul Simon, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. How Steve Howe would have done it. Probably. None of that's in the lesson. Because, well, anyway, sometimes I just wander off. So, not everything has changed, as you can tell. Caught some really cool Dan Rather interviews recently. Well, actually, the last couple days, saw the 2 most recent ones. If you haven't seen these, they're on Access TV. And in the one 2 weeks ago, he was talking to Don Felder. And in last week's one, or just a couple days ago, Robbie Robertson. And it's it's really interesting hearing these guys' perspectives on what happened when you've also heard the story from like 16 other people. Well, maybe not 16. But to hear Glenn Fry talk about the second dismissal of Don, pretty different from what Don had to say. And to hear Robbie talk about what was going on with Levon Helm, who, of course, is not around to defend himself. Well, anyway, it's a lot like American politics. It's really easy to find one side of the story. Enough said. Okay, I think that is it for what I wanted to talk about today. I do have I got a student working on some of the beginning. So you know what? I'm looking at my Renaissance guitar book, and one of my students who I didn't see for about 10 years, she's back now has been for a couple of years, used to play a lot of this classical stuff, and she came in and wanted to kind of like revisit it, and she was really rusty. So I broke out the Renaissance guitar book, luckily, which she had, because we've been doing these lessons with Zoom. And so I really haven't seen any live students or many live students in the last six or 8 weeks. Some of that's starting to change just a little bit. But anyway, so had to start working on stuff like Wilson's Wild, Lesson for Two Lutes, all this stuff that I put into one of the courses I really had a lot of fun putting together, that has now been around for a really long time. Well, is the Guide to Reading Music. Because I even had a student come in the other day, not a student, it was a good friend of mine who's a plumber, and he came in and he wanted to. Every time he comes here, he gives me a deal if I play a song for him. That's great. So comes in, fixes our problems, and knocks 20% off the bill if I'll play something for him. The first time it was this one. Yeah. Big Harry Chapin fan. And of course that means last week it was this. I should keep a capo handy when I decide to bounce into songs that need a capo. Anyway, so I said, hey, because I know he plays guitar pretty well, or reasonably well, I think. He hasn't ever actually played for me. But he said, can you show me Cats in the Cradle? And I played it for him a couple times. He says, do it a couple more times. I said, I could just give you the tablature to it. He goes, I can't read tablature. I said, okay, then you're going to have to stay for 5 minutes to learn how to read tablature. And then you can take this sheet home and come back and play it for me later. So anyway, that was it. So Scotty, if you're out there watching, I hope you're doing well with the tablature, and check back in, man, because we do have some other plumbing problems still. Okay, that is it for the Welcome to Totally Guitars 2.0 or 11.0 or 11 plus or something. And again, any problems, put in a ticket. Jamila and the gang are working, like I said, virtually around the clock to make things right for everybody. So. That is it. A little more Paul Simon next week. I've got a few other surprises coming out but I've hinted at them over the last 2 months worth of news things. So if you go back and watch through some of the news things, you'll be. That's one of them, but I'm not sure when that lesson. I'm not sure I even finished it. Oh, I guess I'm sure. So, okay, I'll be hanging out on the forum, answering questions, and maybe posing some, because this whole shutdown thing has I've barely watched TV except for news, and which I have never done in my whole life. But it means I'm not watching baseball games at night while I fall asleep either. But it has had me listening to a lot more music and just putting it on and sitting out in the backyard and listening. Oh my God. And even in the car, I was driving around today, and the Wallflowers album came on that I barely knew, but I'd had it. I bought all their first 3 albums, I think. And okay, but what was the point of all that? Oh man! And the last thing that got played after the Wallflowers, fabulous album, Gordon Lightfoot, The Way I Feel. some songs that have just Walls. Song I used to sing all the time when I was in my 20s. I'm not sure if I ever did a lesson on that. Oh, Rosanna, Home from the Forest. Great tunes on Gordon Lightfoot's album, The Way I Feel. I should put up a little listing post about that. Okay, I'm going to do that. I hope. Okay, that is it for May 8th, 2020. See you next week.